We grew up on mixtapes and neon lights, dreamed of the world in our bedrooms at night.
Hey
Now
there,
we got
everybody.
our
We are
dreams
here
and
again. We are the GlobeTrotting Trio. My name is Amy.
I'm Shelley.
And I'm Tammy.
Yay, we're all here. All right. So this week, let's talk about modes of travel. I will tell you, everybody knows what I like to do. I love to cruise. Tammy, I know what you like to do, but tell everybody what it is. What's your favorite mode of travel?
Flying.
Right? How about Shelley? What's yours?
Mine is hard. Like, I love driving. If we're in the US, I love to drive because I can be able to see the sights and we can make random stops whenever we feel like it. And I love to stop at those historical markers, the brown ones with the white writing that say, oh, this house or whatever. I love to stop at those along the road. But man, flying just gets me there so much faster.
It sure does.
I will say, so I'm the odd. I like cruising, but we also like to RV. So those two are two things. So I like to take my home with me because then I have everything I need. Right?
Yes.
I have my office. I have everything. I can just take it with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I remember a few years ago, you were either on a cruise ship or you were in the RV. That was the two things. You weren't at home. So yeah. That's funny.
All right.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, ladies, what I did is I went out and I asked the AI this question. Rate each one of the different modes of travel. So I said airplane, car, public transportation, i.e. like, buses, that kind of thing, trains, cruises, and RVs, and which percentage is used the most, and rate them with percentages. Right. Which one do you think won?
I'm going to say airplanes, totally, because you just go into an airport nowadays, and I think that's clear. Like,
right.
There's no airport out there that's empty. I mean, seriously, no airport out there that's empty. So
which one do you think came in second?
So one of the things that, car for sure, but I would have thought without thinking about this is that it would have been planes and then cruises, because the people are taking a lot of cruises.
All right. So you are right. It is cars. And what really surprised me though, that buses came in third.
That's weird to me. Like, I don't really like taking the Greyhound.
And really,
well, last week we actually talked about the differences between travel in the 80s and 90s versus now. 80s and 90s, people were still taking the Greyhound bus.
Yes,
that was definitely something that people were doing more frequently. I would not think that would be what's going on right now.
But I wonder, so if it was a generic, hey, tell me, calculate this, you have a ton of people in the metro areas that still take public transportation to and from work. You get people that grab the train to go in from a suburb.
That's true.
So I wonder if that's where that's coming from, not necessarily thinking vacationing, but just in general.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
That's a good point, Shelley, because think about it though. I mean, but probably still Chicago people are, using some kind of bus. New York people
are using the L. I mean, the L is
because that's part of the public transportation, right? I wonder if AI can tell us what the percentages were in 1950.
Oh,
that would be interesting. Or the year the 1968, 70, something like that.
And while she's putting that in, I will say, oh, I don't want to take the Greyhound, but we go overseas, we go to Europe. I am all about the public transportation because I can get right in there with the locals and you can find out really cool stuff and you hear a lot and it's easy and it's cheaper. And you don't have to run a car and get an international driver's license and worry about insurance.
Right. Any of that stuff. One of my fondest memories when Dave and I went on vacation, it was actually in, where was it? Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And we rode a bus from our hotel to downtown or market. I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was. And, that was back in probably 2001 or something like that, probably. And my memory is that they were on this bus, and it was Christmas time, and they were singing Feliz Navidad and with a guitar. It's one of my fondest memories because
That's
it was
fun.
just weird, It was like,
Yeah,
and every
that's fun.
time now that comes on the radio, or not radio, you can tell how old I am, right? Every time it comes on when you're in the store or whatever, Dave and I were like, oh, do you remember when? It's like it's a fond memory that. So what did AI tell us about 19 whatever?
Okay, so airplane travel back in 1950, 2 to 5% of travelers were taking the
Wow.
airplane. 60% of the travelers take an airplane now.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
I
cars.
knew it was
huge.
going to be big, but I didn't think it was going to be that big.
Yeah. So think about this. Cars and 40% to 50% in 1950 were taking cars to transfer, for trips.
And we're down to
And
20
now
now.
it's 20%.
Yeah.
And
But
train.
also think about this. So we're talking about such a huge difference in, planes from even the 50s to now. But think about how we lived and how we worked. So 50s, 60s, even the 70s, families were close together. You didn't have to go from one side of the continental US to the other to see your children and your great, you lived where you worked and your family stayed fairly close with inside of that. And
Okay, so you've got to
just
tell
wasn't
me.
as much of a need.
You got to tell me the rest of these stats because I'm like.
All right. So public transportation, 20 to 25% in the 50s, and now it's 10%.
Yeah.
Trains, 30 to 35% in the 50s, and now it's about 5%.
5%. And
Cruises, 10 to 15% in the 50s.
What?
And 3% now, which totally floors me.
Wow.
The one that changed the least is RV, van, and trailer type travel, right? That's all 1 to 2% in the 50s and 2% now.
Wow. So the things that surprised me the most, cruise ships, the difference between airplane travel.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Crazy,
and I
isn't
knew
it?
cars because whenever my mom used to tell stories about her traveling, because her family used to travel because they had family out in California, and they would take road trips out there, and she would always talk about the funny things that happened along on the road trip. So I always knew road car trips were definitely
yes.
I got that. That made complete sense.
Right.
But I will say I'm surprised about cruises going down.
Yeah.
Me too. And I wonder if it's because of the percentage of how many people are traveling now compared to the percentage of the amount of people that were traveling back then. And so there's definitely more cruise destinations, cruise ships out there that are actually cruising. But how many did they have back in the 50s?
I don't know, but I'm going to ask this question.
Oh, yes. Let's hear.
My question was, how is it being calculated? And it gave me this big old long thing. How are these percentages being calculated? It gave me this, wow.
Okay.
Some algebraic equation that we'll never figure out.
Oh my gosh.
Global and national travel surveys, airline and airport traffic due, national transportation statistics, cruise industry reports, RV and alternate travel trends, tech and travel platforms. So, yeah.
Just like you figure out your weight when somebody says, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. Well, if you weigh 400 pounds and you lost 10 pounds, that's only like a half of a percent, right? But if you weigh 150 and you lost 10 pounds, that's good percentage is going to be higher. So that's probably, here we are talking weight loss. That's probably the same concept that they're using to make these percentages. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah.
Population wise, I mean, I think is what you just said too. So think about population back in the 50s. What was the population in the 50s versus now?
Yeah.
Don't you love AI? Like
I
these are things
do.
that I don't know why, like so many people that are Gen Xers that I've talked to have said, I don't like it. I don't like
Oh,
all the
I love it.
technology. And I'm like, I love it. I
I
was
don't like the
definitely,
ramifications that it could potentially have as we continue with it. Not
uh-huh.
Yes.
super excited about that. But I will say, I do like the convenience of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, my friend that was staying with me, um, we were trying to, what we were doing. Oh, I wanted to find a theme for a party. Like give me themes of a party. We're staying in Chicago,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, and I did it, and then I was telling her ideas, and she didn't know I used AI. Then she looked at me and she said, "Did you use that again?" And I'm like, "Yes, again. I've used it so much over these last few days. It's funny.
Mm-mm.
It's funny." Hmm.
Yeah, that's what happens. All right. So world population in 1950, 2.5 billion people. 2025 estimated at 8.1 billion. So that
Oh
means
my
it's a three
goodness.
times growth, which makes
Gross.
complete sense why
Yeah.
things have changed just,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
United States, the population 152 million, and then this year 220 or 2025 is 335 million.
Wow.
So we've more than
Wow,
doubled.
that's a big difference.
It is. It is. All
Yeah.
right. So I digress. Let's talk about other things. Let's talk about
Yes.
all of that travel. Let's not talk about the population. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. Come on.
So I will still say this because, I did that I flew across the pond. We went over to England and then moved down to Barcelona and then we took a cruise back. I 1 million times enjoy the cruise portion of that than the flight.
Well, you were also on that cruise ship for 3 weeks,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. We were on
So,
the land portion, but I would much prefer. So I'm sitting here looking, and we're looking at cruises going back to Europe, leaving out of New York, so then we could go to, Iceland and then Ireland and Paris and all of that, and then land over there, and then go over and do some land stuff, and then cruise back. I would
she
totally
would
do that.
totally be happy with a 6-month world cruise.
If
Yeah.
somebody forced me, I guess I could do it.
Yeah.
The only way I would do that, though, I did tell Andrew the only way I would do the 6 month world cruise is if I knew my grandbabies could come hang out with me for like a month.
Don't think that would happen.
Oh, I'm betting my kids would let me have my grandbabies for a month. They'd be like, yeah, take them. So
On the cruise
I mean,
ship,
my
on the
kids tell me that
6 month, you, yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
my kids let me take mine for a month.
yeah.
yeah.
It's not on a cruise.
Right. Not on a cruise. No. No.
I don't think I could do a 6 month cruise.
I could totally do a 6 month cruise.
I will
Completely
say
was
this. Let me
different.
take that back. So when we have cruised, we cruise interior cabins
Uh-huh.
because we're never in the cabin.
You
I sleep.
wait. You
Interior.
cruise interior cabins?
Yeah,
You never get a balcony?
no, we're never in the room. We are never in the room. So I don't ever want to spend the money. I'm like, nah, just put me on an interior. And here's the other thing. I sleep so good. It's dark. It's quiet. I get on there. Oh, I sleep so well. It is like the
So
best
that
sleep
is
of my
exactly
life.
why we don't
But
do
Well,
interior.
here I am
oh,
again. That whole anxiety thing to Amy.
right. And I thought I mean, the first time we did, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I'm so claustrophobic. I don't know if I can do it. I was fine because we're never in there. But I will tell you, if I was going to do a 6 month world cruise, I'd have to have a balcony. Like, I'd have to have a suite because I would feel like the walls are starting to close in on me. There'd be no way. I'd have to. Oh my gosh. It'd
Again,
have
you're
to be
not in your room very much. You're in there to
Right. What's
sleep
the
and move
difference?
on. The
What's the
only
difference,
reason, the
right?
only difference is the cruise line that we cruise on the most. I like the ocean view or balcony just because it ends up having a couch in there if you have the ocean view or the balcony. The interior, I love the interior for the fact that I get the best sleep ever because it's like hibernation,
Telling you.
cave-like thing going on. But the
Yes.
unfortunate thing is the very first cruise where I ever took that I was in an interior room. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and we were like, how did we sleep this late? We had to start setting alarms, and I hate having an alarm on my, go off whenever yeah, that's just not right. It's not right in so many levels. So there you have it.
And here I'm having, there is no way I'd be in an interior cabin. And even on a 2-day cruise, there's
Yeah.
no way.
There's no way that, well, let's get real. Tammy's not going to get on a cruise unless she just has to.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
There's that.
I mean, if you three were the three of us were going, or more people, then I would consider it again. But no.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's make
be
it
on
happen,
here.
Captain. All right. So
I'm gonna just store that right back here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say, remember that day
Kelly and I are
when
going to
we
be
were
making some
doing our
plans
podcast,
shortly.
you said,
Tammy's
Yes.
going to be regretting when she says,
I'm going to regret this statement. And then you're going to go back and you're going to say, here it is, episode number, whatever.
you admitted. All right. So we talked about the different types of rooms that we like on cruises, but talk about the different types in flights. Like, what type of seating do you like in flights?
Well, hello. The best type of seating in flights is going to be, I mean, depending on first class. Well, now it's first class, business class, or business comfort, or whatever it is. But it, it's not financially feasible a whole lot of the time.
Right.
When we were going to Fiji, I mean, those tickets were super, super crazy expensive anyway. I mean, $1,500 per person round trip. I mean, it is an 11-hour flight from LA. So yeah, it is
I get it.
whatever. But if you went up to first class, it was $6,000. So, I mean, unless you get a free upgrade, yes, absolutely. I would do that. And I had the luxury of, and it is a very much of a luxury. You guys know that my husband is currently in the travel industry and retired from one airline and works currently in full time or part-time for another airline now. But on our trip over to London, actually on the way back from London, we were upgraded to first class, and it was one of those lay down seats,
The lay flat. I need that in my life.
It was
I will tell
amazing.
you that if I could do that, I would
Yes.
fly every day. I would fly all the time.
oh,
I would
I
fly
would
and
never
be
be
happy. I would not complain about it ever.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as we walked in, they were like, a glass of champagne, please. And they had it right there for us, and then, even before our appetizer, I actually thought it was our meal. It was so big. And I mean, I wasn't even thinking. I mean, they give you the menu, and I wasn't even thinking. I was tired. And I ate most of that, and then whatever. But typically, as a paying person, and as a paying person, it's definitely, whatever you can afford, or whatever. And it's not even you could afford, because it's whatever you want to spend.
Right.
We can all afford whatever we prioritize.
Right.
One way or another, we can learn to afford it, right? So
Right.
it's where are your priorities? Where what do you want? You want the comfort, or you just want to be on that flight to get to the destination?
Yeah. If it's a short flight, I will do all kinds of things. Like I will fly with an airline that is always never on time, and they're yellow, and I don't care. I really enjoy them.
They're yellow.
No names, no mentioning
No
of names.
names. We have somebody else that really
Green one might
loves
be
them, but I
worse.
will absolutely fly on them. It doesn't bother me. But if it's the long flights, I don't know that I could do just a regular seat.
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
just
can we
don't
talk
know.
about, it's not even the regular seat, okay? It's the quality of the seat that you're sitting in. Because there are times I can sit down on one of those airlines and I'm like, oh, my tailbone is gonna hurt in 2 hours. Like I am not gonna feel my butt here. And then there's other airlines I'm like, I am good to fly all the way to California.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one that doesn't currently assign seats, it
Uh-huh.
drives me absolutely bonkers. And
I
I
love it.
mean, and I'm a snob. I'm a airline snob because I prefer to go and have the nicer seats and, and the whatever, the assigned seats that I want to have. And, and
I just pay the extra money and get in there faster. And I go
Mm.
back to the exit row, and that's where I go because I like to have the leg room. That's me.
yes,
So I will
but
totally
That's
do
what we've
that.
started doing with them as well. It
Yeah.
works
yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
Well, I fly space available,
So you can't.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
So I hate being because I I could typically I'm the last one on the plane, and there's no way to upgrade unless somebody, at the gate will let me on early. And that, it's a coin flip is basically what it is. And this last trip that I took down to Oklahoma, Amy,
Uh-huh.
on our way back, it was a friend of mine and me going, and we got into Dallas, and this airline that doesn't assign seats were literally a full flight, and it was all middles left. So we had to sit in between people we didn't
That
know.
is that is the
Um,
worst. I don't
yeah.
even mind being in between people I don't know. They hog the armrests. So
Oh,
you sit there and you're like this,
yeah.
and it's literally like a sardine in a tiny
Mhm.
can
Make them
because everybody
uncomfortable.
else
Lay
is
your
like
head
this.
down on their
I
shoulder
start,
and go to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, I totally made these people uncomfortable because I went like this to my, I'm like, I'm in the middle. I'm supposed to have the armrest. And they did. There was a little guy on the side, but
Yeah.
yeah, one side, and there was a lady on the other, and she was like, oh, she was leaning over anyway, so
True.
yeah, because it was
So we've gotten the cruises. We've talking about airlines. Let's talk about trains. Have you guys ever taken a train
yes,
ride?
yes, I just did week and a half ago.
Okay, where'd you go? Tell me about it.
We went to St. Louis and back.
Okay. From
really, yeah.
from your
Oh, it was
hometown
easy.
or
It was a short 3 hour drive from where I live. Like it was a drive. It was a 3 hour train ride. Like it
okay.
it
So
was
how
so
far
simple.
is the train station from your house?
25 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
cool. I was a
And
little
then,
sad. So in October of this year, they're closing down the Oklahoma City to Dallas Fort Worth train. So
Oh,
it's been a goal to go on that train. So sometime before October 1st, I'm going to be on the train going to Dallas.
oh
do
yeah,
it.
absolutely. You need to do it.
We
Yeah.
love riding the train. I take it to Chicago. So I grab it quite frequently to Chicago if I have an afternoon or an evening flight. I will absolutely grab it, take it to Chicago. You walk 2 blocks, grab the L, and then you go right into the airport. I love it.
Awesome. That is
So
awesome.
here in the United States and where I live here in Sunbury, we're smack dab in the middle. And we actually have to go to Cleveland to get it. And that's 2 hours away. I'm not going to drive 2 hours and then go somewhere else. But when we were in France, we actually took the train from Paris to the castle. I can't remember it right now, but it was even on the train. That was like an hour and a half away on the train. So, it was fun. That was fun. And I would do it in another country. Absolutely. Mhm.
That's a bucket list for us. We want to fly into Ireland and then take the train all the way back, all the way down through like England and over into France
Oh
and
yeah.
over to Germany and Switzerland and Belgium and all the things, and
And
then make our way down to Spain again.
All right, let's just put it on the calendar. Let's
Okay,
just put it on the calendar, Amy. 2030. Let's do it.
I want it.
2030.
okay.
My husband will be
2030.
retired. We will most likely have already moved. Like, let's do it. 2030. I'm making a note.
Okay.
I like
All
it.
right. You guys don't forget about me now. Okay.
No, I think the Globetrotting Trio should go together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Spouses.
so.
Our spouses can come along if they choose, but the trio has
Yes.
to go. Yeah.
Tammy, your husband has not had the blessing or the curse, he can decide, of being with our husbands in the same place for
Oh
very
yeah,
long.
I know.
Our
Yeah.
two can cut a rug, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Andrew and my husband Dave, they got along pretty well when they were in Maine,
Yeah.
but that was the first time they've been together
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So,
I think
yeah.
Alan and Andrew are still owed some Speedos that they're supposed to be wearing at one of our vacations.
Yes, they are.
Oh, well, we
Oh,
fit right in
cannot.
Europe, right?
There you go. We'll get one for Dave too.
Get one for Dave. And then we have to do that matching shirt thing with them too.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Tammy, you do know my dad wore a Speedo my whole childhood, right?
Ooh. Oh gosh.
Yes.
No.
My dad wore a Speedo and he would, oh, in front of my friends to the city pool, like to the lake. He wore a Speedo.
I never saw my father in shorts, let alone a Speedo. He never, I mean, like, it was always long pants. He did wear short sleeve shirts, but yeah,
Mm-mm.
crazy,
A Speedo.
crazy.
That's
All right.
awesome. All right, guys. So all kinds of different travel. Let's just say that we all love our own way of modes of travel.
We do.
Ultimately, we love to travel.
Yes.
So what is your favorite mode of travel? Go ahead and give us that. Let us know what it is. We would love to hear from you. And you know what? If you wouldn't mind, at the end of this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you could subscribe to our channel. We love the fact that you're here listening, and we want you to have an absolutely amazing day. Absolutely. Thank you for coming along for our next amazing, crazy journey. And I totally threw that one completely out of the water and blew it up. Didn't even sing it right, but it is what it is. And you guys know what I mean.
It is what it is.
Have an amazing day, and we will talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.